So I was at work doing my thing, and then I'd got a message out of the blue that someone was asking if I would like to join their running team for an upcoming event, which was crazy. But before I get into that, I'm going to take you to the beginning. So, my name's Salvatore. I'm a humble 9 to 5 office worker who likes to sip espresso, cook yummy food, pedal my bike to work, saving time, money, creating freedom, and then also recently lacing up my running shoes and crossing that finish line faster than I ever thought imaginable, which is kind of why we're getting into this today. And I'll share with you how something is kind of possible and how things can work around you to help what you're trying to do. All right. So if you kind of want to get fitter, get to the next level, really become inspired, then this is a video for you, right? So here I was, right? Let me, like I said, sorry, going back to the beginning, I was a little kid kind of in primary school, and I used to compete in 100 meters and 200 meters, track and field, right? And I was actually pretty talented, I guess. I was able to, in my school, run pretty fast, and for my district, run, first, second, and third place, mostly second, couple times first, more often than not, more second than third. And that was really cool to see that I could kind of do that when I was really young, and I kind of saw myself as an athlete, which was really kind of cool. And then as I got to like high school, I was still relatively fast for my age group, and then district as well, same thing, similar placings. And that kind of like stayed with me. And I look back on those memories fondly to know I was able to kind of, compete against others that were really good and like actually show up and do really, really well. But that's really interesting because at that kind of time, I would often see my other friends that would be at the school or that would compete alongside me that would do the longer distances, 800 meters and beyond that. I mean, at the time I thought 800 meters was really, really long. Now I'm like, that's not really that long. It's just funny how like your perspective on stuff and your awareness just expands. But like I kind of thought like, oh, there's no way I could ever do that distance and do that distance fast simply because, genetically I can't do that, which kind of like was this massive limiting belief that I held or thought was true for the longest time until like 5, 6 years ago, where I actually, got a road bike and, started really building my aerobic base, long distance wise. And that kind of translated into me having a type of fitness that I never knew was possible or ever thought I could actually realize. And this kind of then led to me doing a couple of runs, and then eventually the spirit within me wanting to test myself, through doing lots of rides up mountains, eventually wanting to be around others and seeing how I could push, then led to me joining or partaking in what's known as a park run every Saturday at 8 a.m. Now, I haven't done a lot of these, but the point is, by joining this, it unlocked something in me, that competition and sense of when I was younger at the athletics events for my school or district. I got to kind of be on that start line and feel those same emotions, but for an event that I thought I could never do, which is a 5 kilometer. I like the idea of running a 5K because I think 5K is a really good point to test yourself for speed, even though it's 5Ks. I mean speed like in terms of, like if you do kind of like, ultra events or really, really long distance like marathons, yes, you can run those fast, but you kind of like, they don't really run as fast as like how fast you can push out for a 5K. And it kind of builds that like consistency and mental fortitude in you. It's kind of like it's a bit easier to kind of train for, which isn't really fully true. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it was what I'd set in my mind of what I want to get really fast at, like under 20 minutes. And kind of rocking up to these park runs, realizing that there's about 200-300 people, I would get to the point where I would finish these and be top 20s, sometimes in the teens, like 11th, 12th, 13th. And that was like insane in my mind to know that there were so many people. And even though I didn't get, first, second, third, like I did when I was younger, it kind of made me feel like I was on the podium anyways, because I mean, relative to the sheer volume of people, like when I did the 100 meters, I think there was maybe 8, 10 of us on the starting line. Same for, I think the 200 meters was about eight of us. So like relatively, it felt like I'd basically done the same thing. And that was crazy to think that kind of I was able to do that and really get to that level with not as much training as you would think. And in terms of where I see myself, in terms of how fast I can run a 5K, I've still probably got 4 to 5 and a bit maybe minutes. I can really like realistically shave off my time to really present myself and kind of be that really fit elite level athlete that I see or know that I'm capable of, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, which is kind of where we get into this next point of like being around others and kind of sharing your experience. So what I mean by that is like at my work, I'd kind of resonated with a bunch of people that were also into running and fitness, and we'll kind of, share tips and tricks. I'd kind of, listen to what they had to say, offer some tips based on what I knew, and say, well, what if you try this, do this and this. And then they'd kind of say, well, what training do you do? And then I'd kind of like, they get a sense of like what my running times are in splits. Splits are, like how quickly you run a 1K. So your speed is therefore your pace per kilometer. So, do you do it in 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes? Okay. Obviously the lower, the faster, right? So that's kind of where they would kind of understand where I was at. And kind of following on the park run, doing a training last year, it crystallized in terms of this competitive spirit, crystallized in me doing a 6K fun run, which at the time, day before, I didn't feel that fantastic. Day of, didn't feel that great either. And at the start of the race, I was kind of there a bit later, so I had to weave across a lot of people just to kind of get to a point where I could really open up my stride and really get into a zone, because I was, like weaving between people and stuff, which was insane if you think about it. But the point is, I was able to run that at like a blistering speed, at like low 4 minutes for that distance, and that really surprised me because I guess that's the thing you don't realize, the competitive nature and kind of how excited you get. You really get pushed, and it's something that goes beyond what you would normally do at training by yourself. So it's really cool to kind of experience that. But what was really even freakier was like there was 2,000 people that competed in the 6K run, but I was able to like get 24th place, which I think was insane. Like I just couldn't like believe it. And again, like I'm not the fastest and I've got a long way to go. So it's kind of really inspiring to know that like that's what's happening. And then people at work would kind of, I think one person followed me on Strava, which you should definitely get because you can start your running journey and it tracks everything. It's fantastic. You can track your running shoes, how much mileage you've got on them. You can like track your distance over time, your route. So many metrics. It's amazing. So someone at work had followed me so they could kind of see how I was going. And then eventually they reached out to me and they sent me a message saying, hey, would you be interested in joining our running team? Like, I think you'd be a great addition. And I was like, I couldn't believe that kind of happened in like a self-realization when it went kind of full circle. I was going back to when I was younger thinking, how cool would that be if I could do that and kind of be so fast at the longer distance, to being at a point where I was invited to join a team and we do every second Wednesday, it hasn't commenced yet, but it will soon, every second Wednesday, a 4.5K run in the city around a certain track, and it's called the Corporate Cup. And I was like, holy moly. And just there's other aspects of this that are insane because like I have a registration fee, but somehow that got subsidized by the company I work for, which is insane. And I just couldn't believe that just like how that kind of came to be. And I guess the fact that I was invited to that really inspired me to really like push and really just show up to running because I've got something and a team that I'm now part of, and I can inspire, and they can inspire me, and we can all help each other, and like we can do our best. Because what happens is, uh, obviously it's individual. Like you run from point A to point B, you start at the checkpoint, and then you have a card which you know finish your time. Your group all do the same thing. They all run their times, and then it gets aggregated into, I guess, an average, and then basically that's your team ranking. You know how fast you are and stuff, which I think is really cool. And obviously the point is that at the start of it, they want to see, you know, how much better you can get. So by doing it every fortnight, you're really challenging yourself to push and get faster, which is amazing. And there's that real sense of like community, team spirit, and it's really amazing. So I guess, again, even though I don't see myself as this really fast runner yet in long distance, the fact is I wanted to do something, and it seems like the universe and those around you will start to identify that, and they will actually help you and present you with opportunities to do so by being invited to this race, by being subsidized by who you work for, by kind of getting to do something with your friends is something really transformative, because it means that if you find something you like and you stick to it and you're really passionate about it, that will spread. And there'll be some way that you think or would never have thought of before that will effectively just tap into another level of you and just inspire you to get better and better and better, and really push yourself to really help you with your goals and stay on track and stay focused, which is really, really amazing if you think about it, like how magical that is in such an organic way. Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have to ask, like, you know, can I be on your team? It was more like it was presented to me because of how I've like framed myself and how I've, you know, gotten better and built up over time, right? And that's like, it's like, you know, like in the movies and the shows when, you know, you've got your two captains and they have to pick the teams, and you always kind of want to be picked towards the start because it's like they really want you on their team, and if they get you, then they know they're going to win. That's kind of like what it felt like in a very, like, even though I'm an adult, I'm 28 years old, it kind of felt like that being a kid again, you know, and that's kind of really exciting to kind of note that as you go through life, there's still these elements of nostalgia and you know, childhood fun that will still resonate with what you're doing. And I think that really makes the process really enjoyable and helps you feel like you're just getting somewhere. So like by, I guess, conquering mountains again and again and conquering life, others will see that and resonate with it and conspire to help you and motivate you to do so again and again, faster, faster, or however your goals are. So that's what I'm trying to say. I wanted to share this to inspire you and say that it doesn't take long before others will help you with your journey to really help push you to the next level and really, you know, dig deep inside yourself. And I can't wait to kind of provide updates on how this goes and how my team is in terms of like where we're at and kind of what it felt like. So of course, stay tuned, you know, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to actually see the runs, of course, I'll have my Strava, so you'll be able to see kind of how they, like where the route is. I'll, you know, title it. Strava's free. If you've got Facebook, you can link it to your Strava, or I think even Instagram. And like it sets up your account and you can start your running journey now, or cycling or swimming, whatever, or walking journey. And, you know, you can follow me. And I think it'd be really cool if we start a community of people that are on Strava, you know, holding each other accountable, giving each other thumbs up, and really just building something amazing and really inspiring others to start their journey, a fitness journey, and really just like start conquering the mountain, right? And conquering life. Conquer mountains, conquer life.